is DRL, the Drone Racing League. At level 7, MCK FPV was finally able to channel all his preseason hype into his first level win. Yes! Will that unleash his full potential and result in a total takeover of MetaCity? Let's go! The track may be virtual, but the physics, the controller movements, and the racing are real. Oh, get in there! This is Drone Racing. Let's go, baby! This is DRL. Welcome to the DRL Algorand World Championship, the premier international drone racing circuit. This is Level 8 MetaCity, the 6th virtual sim event of our hybrid season, and we are all getting ready for the racing to start. Hello everybody, alongside two-time DRL World Champion Evan Heads Up Turner, as well as drone racing pilot Tony Niddle. I'm Craig Ummer. TK, DRL has gone to great lengths to ensure that this racing is as close to real life as it gets.
Yeah, the DRL Sim is the most realistic quadcopter flight simulator available, using a proprietary true-to-life physics engine of the flight characteristics. Now, the controller movements are one-to-one with real-life drones. Now, the two biggest differences racing in the sim are that there's no mid-air collisions and, well, you have perfect vision.
Evan, I am not a technical man, so I want you to take everything that TK just said, soak it up with a sponge, and wring out an answer for me. What does all of this mean for the racing we're going to see?
Well, in my career as a DRL pilot, my nerves were equivalent, if not higher, in sim racing. In IRL racing, you have a lot of outside elements that are out of your control. You have wind, you have other variables including video, breakup noise, and even mid-air collisions. In the sim, all of those are removed, and for the better or for the worse, everything is on you.
Well, I tell you what, for our fans that have already watched the previous levels, they know the racing has been very exciting. Let's get right to our semifinal 1 pilots, the colors they will fly, and their locations around the world. We start with Pavelos in Poland. He flies orange and white. Killian, also in Europe and France, flies blue. Maverick from California, the winner of the 2022 DRL Sim Tryouts, flies red. Gab 707, the veteran up in Canada, flies yellow. Hyper from Florida flies green. And Singu in Spain flies orange. Semifinal 1, Heat 1. Six look to stand out high above the populace. As they go through the Google Cloud Gate, it's now over to the suspension bridge. They'll drop down and through the points cache gate. That leads to the T-Mobile Gate, an early lead for Killian in blue.
The Dragonfly Gate is crucial. Coming over that bridge into the tunnel, it will be a big differentiator for pilots. Looks like Killian and Pavelos in a battle here early on, but Gab 707, the veteran, is keeping his nose up there.
Well, now they drop down to the corkscrew around the monorail. Killian in blue still with the lead. Up onto lap number 2 through the Google Cloud Gate again. It's Killian in blue. Gab in yellow, 1-2, but Pavelos orange and white is trying to get in the mix.
Killian was able to take down Pavelos in the final of the last level, so I know Pavelos and him have a bit of a rivalry going on right now, but the blue drone of Killian has found his groove on this track early on.
Up, out of the tower, some different lines, but Killian has made it work so far. Clearly in the lead. This will be the last couple maneuvers. U.S. Air Force Gate up to the Google Cloud Gate one final time, but Pavelos is making a surge. Here he goes. Killian in blue, Pavelos orange and white, and Killian takes heat number 1.
Let's go! All right, man.
Oh my
That's how
God.
we do it.
GG's Killian. GG's Killian.
The winner of that first heat is now with the 4th member of our team, Layla Anna Lee.
Hello, Killian. Good to speak to you. Now, you look super comfortable on that track. Is there elements of this track that you feel like are designed for you?
That track is very flowy, very I just like it. I feel very confident on it. I did pretty well on the first, so I'm already in the final, and let's continue like this.
TK, take us through that last heat.
Well, the battle came down to the end when these two were neck and neck on that final turn, but you can see Killian got the edge with a bit more speed as he started his turn just a little before Pavelos. Let's take a look back. You can see Pavelos just below in the orange drone, Killian in blue, and Killian gets his rotation over a little sooner, and through this section 2 drops lower, whereas Pavelos just couldn't get that drone aligned in time. Killian, on the other hand, ran away with it.
Gab707 definitely has not shown his true speed, in my opinion, throughout this entire season. He's struggled with various things that pull him out of the lead, but it looks like he's pretty confident on this track. If there's something that Gab707 has always been good at, it's managing his momentum, the inertia, and this track values that so much. Swooping over this corkscrew, he had a great view of the battle of Killian and Pavel. Now, if you're Gab707, you want to make that pass and you want to win, but I don't know. It looks like the youngsters of Killian and Pavel, if you will, they just have that extra gear. It was Heat 1, granted the nerves were high for everyone, but I think Gab707, he's a smart guy. He knows that he doesn't have to win. He hopes that he can get to a sudden death, and if results stayed as so, he would be going to the finals in the sudden death situation. So Gab707 should keep his confidence high, figure out that corkscrew, try and resolve those bobbles, and I think he may be in his first semifinal of the year.
Well, they call it competition for a reason. Wins matter, and the leaderboard shows that Killian, with the first win of the level here in semifinal 1, has booked his ticket for the finals. All 12 pilots race each level. They're seeded into 2 semifinal groups, with the top 3 from each advancing to the finals. There, the winner of the Golden Heat will be your level champion. The pilots earn season points based on their overall level finish. The pilot with the most points at the end of the season is the DRL Algorand World Champion. Each heat is 2 times around this MetaCity track. TK, take us through it.
Pilots launch up through the Google Cloud Gate and twist down through the suspension bridge. Then head through the points cache gate and the T-Mobile gate before an elevated turn through the Dragonfly Diamond. They drop into the tunnel and set up for the Algorand chicane. It's up to the towers and down to the monorail corkscrew. Pilots soar through the U.S. Air Force gate and through the Google Cloud gate for lap 2, or perform a split-S dive under the building toward the finish.
Killian's first to cash in with the win, but level 8 has plenty more chances for the other pilots to reach the pay window. The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By T-Mobile, exclusive wireless partner of the Drone Racing League. And by Points Cash, freedom to pay your way. Welcome back to Level 8 MetaCity. We're 1 heat into our first semifinal, and with his win, Killian has already qualified for the finals. Here in the semifinals, they fly 3 regular heats, with each heat winner automatically advancing to the finals. Everyone else is subject to sudden death, where only the winner is guaranteed to advance. Evan, we've got 3 European pilots in this semifinal, with 2 of them going 1-2 in that last heat, Killian and Pavelos. So, might seem like a weird question for you, but have you noticed any real regionality in the way pilots either learn to fly or their flying style?
There are 100% stylistic differences between pilots from different regions. Killian and Pavelos obviously from Europe, and it shows in their flying style, especially for this track. The differentiator for them versus pilots from other places, it seems to be the climb up the tower after the Algorand chicane. They had this unique way of doing it, and from what we can tell so far in the semifinal, the fastest way. Doesn't mean it's going to hold out all the way through finals, but it's just something to keep in mind. And when you see the lines split apart, maybe that has something to do with Killian and Pavelos learning where they did.
Semifinal 1, Heat 2. stay unique amidst the numbers. As they go for that Google Cloud gate, it's over to the suspension bridge, an early lead for Killian in blue, Maverick in red right there for a moment, as is Pavelos in orange and white. It's setting up now for the Dragonfly Diamond and the drop into the tunnel.
Maverick really wants to get in the finals. I've seen a very frustrated pilot in him recently, and it's hard to channel those nerves, but here comes the climb where Pavelos and Killian will split apart from the rest.
Killian with a great line to increase his lead through the U.S. Air Force gate. They'll now go back up to the Google Cloud gate already on lap number 2. Killian in blue first, Hyper in green second, and Gab 707 in yellow right there.
We were talking about Gab earlier. He may have figured something out, and this track definitely suits his style. He hasn't made it to a final yet, especially in the sim, so he's one mistake away for Killian. He's going to hold that pressure to hope for one of those.
Killian in blue, Gab in yellow, 1-2 as they climb out of the tower section. They'll now head over to the corkscrew and see who can do it the closest to the monorail. U.S. Air Force gate. Now it's that final split S to finish. Killian leading everybody, trying to go back to back. He already said he loves this track, and he gets a second win.
Go!
Killian,
Come on.
Killian.
Great run, Killian.
Killian's on fire today.
You just said it yourself. Killian's on fire today, but you're not far behind. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident. You know, I had a pretty funny thought experiment just before the race. I thought, you know, what music corresponds to this moment? Is this more of a jazz calm moment, or is this more heavy metal? It's fitting the heavy metal right now, and I'm pushing all I can.
Evan Pavelos was third in that heat. This is what it looked like for him.
What we saw from Pavelos was a mistake at one point, and then as a drone pilot having to push past your limits without making a mistake and try and crawl as far back up the leaderboard as you can. Here in lap 1, Pavelos was definitely on a burner ahead, not seeing any other drones in front of him aside from Killian. I want you to look at this line over that tower down to the monorail, and here come the other drones. So Pavel goes way wide on that corkscrew, allowing some other pilots out in front of him. Now he's dropped down all the way into 4th place. He doesn't really have a shot at making up this much ground over somebody like Killian, especially with the way he's flying. But what you're going to see is Pavelos really push himself. In drone racing, if you make a mistake or have even just a slightly bad turn, you know that you have to go the extra mile if you want to make that up. It's not about flying just a little bit better. You have to fly as good as the next guy and then some to make up the ground. It's definitely a unique place to be, and what we see statistically is after a mistake, pilots are so much more likely to crash. Pavelos played it smart, hoped for a mistake, but didn't get one. At least he brought home a 3rd.
That FPV view is so amazing. Killian, meanwhile, the leaderboard, his 2 wins assure us of a sudden death here in semifinal number 1. At 34 years of age, Gab is by far the most senior pilot on the DRL roster. And after 7 years of 707, this Swiss-born Canadian has learned a thing or two about drone racing. Here's a closer look at why he flies, presented by Dragonfly.
I love drone racing because it gives you that sense of flying. It's a freeing sense of liberty and being able to explore whatever you want.
This time it is Gab's heat, as he will finish the winner.
In racing, it's really about hanging on. It's very much like the feel when you're in a drifting car and you just feel the grip is just kind of sort of just hanging on. And with the drone, it's very much the same. You kind of throw the drone into these turns and you don't know what's going to happen, and you'll see the obstacle just go across your screen and off you go. It's what I really look for in drone racing, which feels like this absolutely hectic and crazy experience of lights flashing around and, like, you know, super jittery fingers. What I look for in this mess and this chaos is flow. I try to really make all that crazy experience feel like the most calm and flowy experience as possible. And that, when I'm really tuned in, comes through. For me, it's a big deal to be here this long, and I'm really honored to be still part of it.
Visit ProjectDroneGalaxy.com to join the Discord. Help name DRL and Algorand's fly-to-own game. Killian looks to be on cruise control, but you can bet he is not going to take his foot off the gas. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to Level 8 MetaCity, 2 heats into Semifinal 1, and only Killian has qualified for the finals. Now we are just past the halfway point in the 2022-23 DRL Algorand World Championship season. Here's where things stand after 7 levels of racing. Halo Walker, the world #1, 7 points in front of MCK FPV, who's 7 points in front of Alex FPV sitting in 3rd. Vanover is in 4th, but only 1 point ahead of Pavelos. Evan, we just saw that feature on Gab 707, and we all know, right, lasting in as long as he has in this league, he's shown great adaptability. So, can he adapt enough in the moment in these next 2 heats to make his way to finals?
I think Gab is very aware that he doesn't maybe have that extra gear that somebody like Killian or Pavelos has. But what Gab has is that experience and the discipline to fly at his best and nothing more than that. He's waiting and hoping for a mistake from Killian or Pavel, and he's going to be there to capitalize on it. It's something that Gab is notoriously good at, and if statistics play their way, it seems to work out more times than not.
Semifinal 1, Heat 3. Dreams don't work unless you take action. They'll go through the Google Cloud Gate, now over to that suspension bridge. Maverick, the red drone in 1st, Hyper in green in 2nd, Pavelos orange and white right there.
Maverick really needs this one. If he doesn't make finals, it's going to be bad, and allowing somebody like Gab 707 to make up a lot of points on him for that seasonal race.
Maverick's fighting for the front. He's back there. Killian in blue now sits in 2nd. Pavelos not letting them get too far in front as they will drop down and initiate the monorail corkscrew over to the U.S. Air Force Gate and back onto lap number 2. Killian, the blue drone, has found the front.
Killian in that monorail corkscrew is unbeatable. It seems like he can get behind and get to that corkscrew, and boom, he's back in the front. Maverick down with prop damage, so we're going to see him in sudden death for sure, and we're going to find out how Killian performs to see if we have 1 or 2 spots in that sudden death heat.
Killian going for the sweep here in semifinals. If he wins this heat, that means there will be 2 spots in sudden death. Killian in blue, Hyper in green. They are fighting for that front. Hyper's dropped back, so now it's up to Pavelos to challenge Killian. One final maneuver. They sweep down towards the finish, and Killian goes 3 for 3.
Killian again?
Yeah! Oh, come
Give
on.
us a break.
Dude, I messed
Killian.
up so bad.
Give us a
I messed up
chance,
so bad on that last turn, dude.
Ridiculous.
Killian pulling out the impressive moves and doing them inverted. Here he is in the blue drone. You can see Pavelos has the advantage on him, and as he climbs up the tower, Maverick on his left, Pavelos on the right. But watch the sweep here from Killian. He cuts on the inside, pulls into the corner between the building and that walkway, and he's got it from here. On the dive down, he's already pulling into the lead, and all he's got to do is hold on to it from there.
Evan, playing off of what TK was just highlighting, clearly on this course, Killian's been putting on a master class, and Hyper, as we see, can just only watch.
Hyper does have that third-person perspective, and it's so difficult to understand what the other pilots are doing when you're watching like this. What you would imagine most pilots are doing who aren't necessarily succeeding, such as Hyper, he's flying consistent, but we're going to hope that he's watching the replays, looking into what the other pilots are doing differently, and then applying that to his own game. You see there, he takes the corkscrew tight, but he loses some momentum, and that's where Killian just destroys, it seems. I think it comes down to managing your momentum, and it's just a stylistic thing almost that we talked about earlier. Whatever Killian's flying style is, it's playing to his strengths right now, and Hyper's in the mix. He's consistent. He's run 3/4 in a row. We're going to take Killian out Since this is the sudden death, and now the battle between Pavelos, Gab 707, and Hyper is going to be where one of those isn't moving on. Can Hyper run down Gab? He's got the consistency, but now he just needs about a 10th or 2 to get in front of that yellow drone.
Pretty simple leaderboard to figure out. Follow the blue line. Killian, 3 state wins, and as we will talk about in a moment, what that means is there will be some heavy drama coming up in this sudden death with 2 spots available. Evan, you were just rattling off the names on paper, right? It looks like Pavelos and Gab 707 have the most realistic shot to advance. But aside from picking the 2 you think are going to move forward, give us that element that you think is going to decide this one for the 2 pilots.
It seems coming down from the tower to that monorail corkscrew is very important. Not only is the corkscrew element what separates others, but it's what line they enter into that corkscrew with. If you're coming out wide like Killian seems to be able to do, it allows him to swoop in with all of that momentum and energy. But if you fly just straight towards that corkscrew, you have to brake and then slam, and you run out of all of that momentum. If they could just watch Killian and apply that to their own flying, it'll help any one of these pilots level up.
Semifinal 1, sudden death. Goggles are down, intensity level is up. 5 pilots, 2 spots. That's the map. Pavelos, orange and white in front. Maverick in red sits in second. Singo for the first time trying to get in the mix as they will go through that Dragonfly Diamond, drop into the tunnel.
The yellow drone of Gab 707 has prop damage, so we're going to count him out of this heat unless something crazy happens. That means that spot for Hyper and Maverick is wide open, and Singularity looks like he wants to sneak in as well.
How about Singu? That's the orange drone. We haven't talked a lot about him yet, but wouldn't that be awesome for him and his fans? Pavelos, however, orange and white, has decided to move to the front with an emphatic statement. He'll go through that Dragonfly Dome again. They're back in the tunnel, setting up for the Algorand chicane.
As we get closer and closer to the end, these turns become increasingly important. If Maverick's behind, if Singu is behind, he has to give it everything he's got to make that last second pass.
They're through the corkscrew, the U.S. Air Force gate, the Google Cloud gate one final time. Pavelos in front, Maverick and Singu fighting for second. Pavelos gets the win. Second place goes to Singu by 1/100th of a second.
Oh my god.
What? Oh my
Oh,
god.
man.
Oh my god.
Come on, Singu. Let's go, baby.
Congratulations on getting through after such a tense sudden death. Singu, I'm coming straight to you first because we saw Maverick there going, wait, what? It was so tight. Were you aware straight away that you'd made it?
I thought that I had made it, but I was not completely sure. But yeah, I thought I got it.
And Pavelos, you got there in the end. You were pushing and pushing. And how did that feel towards the end for you?
Like I said before in the previous interview, the whole run felt pretty great, and then the last turn, not as great.
Well, with Pavelos leading the way, the battle for second was unbelievable. Singu and Maverick neck and neck as they drop down into that corkscrew. And you can see that Singu just starts to pull ahead in front of Maverick as he exits the corkscrew and takes it all the way into the curve, into the finish gate. Let's go back and dive deep into what actually happened with Singu. Here he is on the dive down. You can see Maverick just to his right. Singu cuts in sharper on Maverick and pulls in lower on the beam around the monorail. That puts him in perfect position. Now he's got a little bit of a lead. That cushion gives him the confidence that he can drop into this a little tighter and pull onto the inside edge before Maverick does. By then, he's got a world of speed and he takes second.
Evan, you know Maverick oh so well. This is going to be a crushing miss for him.
I could feel the heartbreak through the screen in that pilot reaction after the race. When the heats are this close, you really, we don't have rear view mirrors on the drones. We're not looking sideways. This is what the pilot is seeing. So going down to that last straightaway, Maverick made it look like he thought that he had got that second place. So for him to see last second that Singu was right next to him with his props just a little bit ahead, I think it was devastating for Maverick. I know that this is going to be a low point in his season, and this is what's going to define him. You see here that he was sitting in 4th place, and it really was not looking good, but they call Maverick a Mr. Clutch because he can always find a way when the pressure is on. He got oh so close and made up so much ground, I gotta say. He had Pavelos out in front, but he knew that, and he was only worried about 2nd place. Has the corkscrew of his life and sees Singu right there, and on this last split S through the building, gives it everything, makes up so much ground, and just has to see Singu sneak right in front of him.
Our pilots advancing out of semifinal number 1, no doubt that Killian was going to be there. Pavelos happy he has made it, and Singu with his 3rd place will now be in his 2nd Sim Finals this season. MetaCity has already churned out great pilot data, but wait until we add semifinal number 2. That's next. The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By Dragonfly, North America made and manufactured drone and AI solutions. And by the U.S. Air Force. Aim high. Welcome back to Level 8 MetaCity. 3 pilots have already qualified for the finals. Now 3 more spots are up for grabs as we get set for semifinal number 2. Evan Wright, as a fan, I'm going to be selfish. This is fun because let's talk Halo Walker and MCK FPV. We all get to watch the rivalry re-engage. Who does this track favor?
Well, in qualifying, MCK and Halo Walker were just over 3/10 apart. That's next to nothing, and that's within the margin of error for any kind of race under the pressure. What we're really going to see more than a favor on this track is a mental just war between these two. If Halo Walker wins, he needs to make sure MCK knows it, and the same goes for MCK. You need to make the other person believe that it's impossible for them to beat you, and you just have to watch how it develops over this semi.
Well, let's introduce all 6 pilots here in semifinal number 2, their locations and their colors. MCK FPV in South Korea flies purple. Halo Walker in Germany flies pink. Amari in Iowa white. Alex FPV from Tennessee flies red and blue. Seba FPV in the Dominican Republic flies green and white. And Vanover from California, the 2019 DRL World Champion, flies silver. Semifinal 2. Heat 1. A new 6 try to conquer the capital of the metaverse. Through the Google Cloud Gate first, it's Seba the green drone who leads them over to the suspension bridge. They'll go through the points cache gate. Alex FPV red and blue now in front.
Here comes the technical section of this Dragonfly gate. This is where you'll see pilots like MCK and Halo Walker really shine. Looks like Alex actually was able to hold them off, and going up, climbing this tower, things get tricky quick.
Well, as they go over to the monorail to initiate the corkscrew, it's Halo Walker in pink, MCK in purple. 1-2 as they start lap number 2. Great job by Halo Walker at the end of that first lap to move to the front. He now leads MCK by just the slightest of margins.
Heat 1 is always oh so important, and Halo Walker does have the lead right now. It all comes down to that drop from the tower to the monorail corkscrew. They have different lines, which makes it unique and interesting. But I know the nerves are high for both of them, so that's what matters more than either.
Oh, but look at that. Halo Walker finds another groove through the corkscrew. MCK not giving up just yet, but Halo Walker's made some distance and gained even more ground as they drop through. And Halo Walker makes that first statement count.
Get me on that boat!
Yikes.
Yeah!
That was rough. Find another second somewhere.
GG's,
Yeah.
GG's, boys.
2 different lines, 2 different styles, 2 very different pilots, and today Halo Walkers seems to be your day. How was that for you?
Yes, this track suits me very well in my flying style. I was anticipating it yesterday already, and I predicted that I was going to be doing well on this track, and I think I just did. Yeah.
You've just mentioned that this track suits you very well, and that's a conversation our commentators have been having. With MCK liking more technical, performing really well in technical tracks, this one more flowy, it might be more for you. Is that something that we're going to see throughout, or do you think MCK could adapt for this very quickly?
He did very well in qualifying, better than I expected on this track. He was pulling ahead on the first lap, on the first part of the first lap, and I think then I started reeling him in with my different lines and different approaches to some of the technical parts of the course.
Halo Walker showing us some magic. MCK in the lead, but Halo Walker pulls a tighter turn around the monorail, and you can see him get an extended lead as he comes through that penny gate. Let's drop into a closer look. As he's approaching underneath, you can see where MCK is right on him, but Halo pulls a super tight rotation, and from that, he's able to extend that lead to victory.
Evan, that was one heck of a competitive heat. The top 4 all under 113. Alex ended up in 3rd.
Alex had a very strong start and showed a lot of promise in the first really 2/3 of this track. Where Alex seemed to struggle is exiting this tower down to the monorail. MCK and Halo Walker just have something over him here. Well, let's check out his line. As he comes over, gets a little bit wobbly, and then here, let's see, it's just so hard to compete with MCK and Halo Walker. Alex had what looked like an incredible, great line, but what I think it came down to was that entry from the tower. Alex flew straight into the corkscrew while MCK and Halo Walker stayed wide and kept that momentum. Then Alex FPV was simply in the chase and had a great view of the battle amongst those two rivals that we talk about in the purple and pink drone. Let's watch them split apart here. Halo Walker goes far left, and then what he does is he elongates this corkscrew and is able to give him a lot of speed exiting, which gives him that advantage through the split S, and next thing you know, we're gonna see him in the finals first.
Well, the man who has definitely made his way to the finals first, Halo Walker, with that win assures himself a spot in the top 6 of the level. There's no question, Halo Walker has more to do, but that first win sends a very strong message to the rest of the pilots. He is here to win. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to Level 8 MetaCity. We're now getting set for heat number 2 of Semifinal 2. Halo Walker has already qualified for the finals by winning heat number 1. Evan, we've talked a lot right throughout these seasons about pilots and how they can adapt. Well, Halo was notably faster in that last heat on the corkscrew. Do you think MCK is going to be able to process and poach that line in this next heat?
Without a doubt. It shows a true world champion level pilot. You're not going to say, oh, my line's better, I'm going to figure it out, perfect it. If you get beat straight up, you're going to go see what they did differently. We just watched MCK during the break. You could see the reflection of his glasses and the squinting of his eyes as he was watching the replay over and over and zooming in, watching from different angles, and I just know he was looking at that corkscrew. Look for MCK to adjust his corkscrew line, elongating it further down to keep his momentum higher. And that might be what it takes to take down Halo Walker, because right now, he's on a different level.
Semifinal 2, Heat 2. The best block out all the racket as 6 go through the Google Cloud Gate. They'll now go over to that suspension bridge. Another early lead for Alex FPV in red and blue. Amari in white right there, as is Halo Walker in pink.
I know the other pilots were watching those replays too. We may not have talked about him, but that is something all of these world-class level pilots are doing. We're going to see several lines adjusted. I'm excited to see who does what.
Well, this is that part of the course that you've been highlighting. Alex FPV, red and blue, first to initiate the monorail corkscrew. Halo Walker in pink comes out in front yet again as he starts his lap number 2 in the lead.
Alex FPV and Amari also making some adjustments, keeping them closer to Halo Walker than they ever have.
And now it's basically a 5-pilot race as they've dropped into the tunnel through the Algorand chicane. They'll climb out through the towers. Amari in white currently in the front. Back down to that monorail corkscrew. MCK in purple. Now Halo Walker. No, Alex FPV. They're all switching positions. Final maneuvers. MCK and Halo right there again at the front. They surge for the finish. And it is MCK.
Wow. Alex, that was everything I had. Man,
Oh my god.
I don't know what to say.
No idea where Minchan came from on that one.
MCK and Alex FPV together on the drop. You can see the two of them, MCK in the purple drone, Alex FPV in that red and blue drone. But as they go to the corkscrew, that's where the differentiator comes into play. And you can see the rotations here from Alex are a little slow on the backside. That allows MCK to push ahead. Not without Halo Walker jumping up front. Here's the ending that the changes happen for him. MCK in the purple on the left, Alex in the red and blue. Watch the two come over the top. MCK much lower here, but watch Alex as he comes into the picture. The two of them come together, but it's MCK's rotation that really separates him from Alex.
Evan, we heard Amari in the pilot lounge afterwards say he threw his best at him.
This really was everything Amari had. And from a confidence perspective, that's really a good thing. If his best wasn't enough, you know, that some may think that can be a dagger, you know, to their confidence. But really that means, hey, I just flew my best and I didn't crash. So that means I can probably replicate that. And that means he can find that consistency because he was right on the heels of the entire big pack. He may have gotten fourth, but when tenths are what's separating you from second or first place, that means that it's, again, within the margin of error, I like to call it, because if you fly your line that same race over and over and over again, your times are going to vary a tenth or two. Maybe it's 2 tenths faster, maybe it's 2 tenths slower, but if you're on the good side, the other guy's on the bad side, that means you can go from fourth to first very quickly. It looks like he struggles coming over those towers, and of course, that part we all talk about, the corkscrew, where Mari got past right there, is something he's going to have to study in this next break to give him those couple extra tenths to get into the finals.
Leaderboard's pretty simple. The top two swap places. MCK gets his win, and Halo Walker finishes second. They are the two pilots so far out of semifinal 2 that have advanced to the finals. The maneuver from the Dragonfly Diamond to the tunnel entrance is one of the most technical elements on this course. TK, take us through the maneuver, presented by the U.S. Air Force.
The Dragonfly Diamond to the tunnel entrance is a technical 3-dimensional section consisting of a hairpin turn, an inverted corkscrew over the monorail, and a steep dive. Pilots approach from below where they roll right hard and pitch up to carve a tight hairpin turn through the Dragonfly Diamond. They then climb and roll their drones back over the track and down to the tunnel entrance where they pitch up to level out and full throttle to the next gate. The ideal line requires pilots to enter wide, stringing all elements together in a smooth line while hugging the turns as closely as possible. Taking a more direct approach with sharper turns may reduce the distance traveled, but stalls momentum, which is slower.
Do you want to fly like the pros? Download the DRL Sim on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Epic Games. We expected a duel. We've got a duel. Halo Walker and MCK are giving us great racing. More is on its way. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. We welcome you back to the semifinals of Level 8 MetaCity. Now here in semifinal number 2, both Halo Walker and MCK FPV have already qualified for the finals. And Evan, they really have, right, been the big story so far. They seem to actually be on a whole nother level. But here in semifinal number 2, are we going to see a third different pilot win this next heat, or are we going to see a sudden death?
Of course, Alex, FPV, and Amari are going to go for broke here to try and peek their nose out and take themselves out of the sudden death and go into finals. But the fact of the matter is MCK and Halo Walker are just on a different level. Like you said, they're flying precise, consistent, and just so controlled, something that the other pilots just don't have. They're on a different level. So I predict that there's going to be quite the race between the two that'll really be for pride more than anything. My bet is on Halo Walker for this one, though.
Semifinal 2, Heat 3. Always best to laugh at life's hurdles as they go through that Google Cloud gate. Alex FPV, red and blue with the early lead. Amari and white right there. Halo Walker and MCK round out your top 4. Similar script to the first few heats.
Alex FPV is maybe doing that thing we talked about, going for broke here. He has nothing to lose, and if he doesn't win this one, he's going to be in sudden death anyway against his good buddy Amari. Looking like Ziva FPV already down in the green drone, and Halo Walker and MCK holding back a little bit, but here comes that infamous corkscrew.
And all the lines as they go through the U.S. Air Force gate. Halo Walker in pink has found the front. MCK in purple sits in second, but Alex FPV, red and blue, has moved into second. Halo Walker in pink maintains first.
Alex FPV is certainly strong in this first half of the track. He's able to make up ground over the top pilots of MCK and Halo Walker, but he just has yet to figure out coming over this tower and dropping down to that monorail.
Well, Amari's got drone damage now, so he has to hope that either Halo or MCK makes it in. Otherwise, if Alex wins it, there won't be a sudden death. Halo Walker in pink does have the lead. Now he'll swoop down towards the finish, and Halo takes Heat 3. There will be spots available in sudden death.
Dude, I'm so fast. Like, you take the blind towers out, and I'm ridiculous.
Alex, you're focused, you're fast, you're pushing, but you're still going in sudden death. How do you feel ahead of that one?
You know, it's kind of been the story of my life here the last 2 levels. I've been so fast on 95% of the track, but there's just that one element that I can't figure out. Coming up between the buildings is super tricky. You can't see a whole lot. There's not a lot of markers. It's a lot of just, you know, trust and knowing it and stuff, and that's never been my thing. So I'm just trying to figure that out. Hopefully I can come out of sudden death. You get these 2 out of here, and I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm feeling pretty good about sudden death.
Evan, Alex was just honest with Layla. Tell us why you think his style doesn't suit that climb out of the towers.
Alex FPV is a very visual pilot. When he's not looking where he's going, he seems to feel out of control, and it's something we've noticed over flying, watching him progress through his career in DRL. Here it is right here. He doesn't know where he's going. He's actually going to pull back over this tower, twist around, and somebody like MCK and Halo Walker, they're just relying on muscle memory and just knowing where that next gate is. It's something they're very good at, and honestly, a very valuable skill when it comes to drone racing. Where Alex FPV is strong is in these visual sections, cutting through this points cache gate, through T-Mobile with a strong turn at the Dragonfly gate. He makes up ground every single time. But just by the time he's made up all that extra ground and he's right next to him, we're back to that climb to the tower, wrapping and twisting over where he can't see where he's going, and MCK and Halo Walker just pull away, plain and simple. Coming down to this corkscrew, MCK makes the pass with a stronger line. One thing to note is Alex FPV did beat Amari. We're about to go into the sudden death to see if he can do it twice and go to finals.
Well, thanks for that, because hearing you describe it while we watched it absolutely reconfirms what Alex has to overcome. The results so far, Halo Walker 2 wins, MCK with 1. They're the 2 pilots moving on, which means coming up in sudden death, only 1 spot will be available. Evan, you know these guys, right, so well. Talk about the dynamic of Alex and Amari now, because they are the 2 who have been the closest to both Halo and MCK. But now these guys, great friends, have to try to beat each other to advance to the finals.
Well, I'll try and paint a picture for the viewer. Think about going to work with one of your best friends, but you and your best friend are competing for the same job to move up, get a promotion. And, you know, you guys are best friends outside of work and all that, but once you get in here and it's the last day and it's the final test, you have to look at your best friend. But what comes down to this, friendship is gone and they are enemies for this 60 seconds of this next heat.
Semifinal 2. Sudden death. Last chance to keep your meta citizenship. We've got 4 pilots in the air, but only 1 will move on. Alex FPV, the blue and red drone, early lead. Amari, the white drone, they sit in second. Their friendship may be tested, as Evan said, over the next minute. Alex FPV in front, Amari, as they get ready for the chicane, and they begin that climb that Alex doesn't like.
Alex FPV is definitely going to struggle here, and it looks like Amari seems to be stronger, making up a lot of ground. This corkscrew is going to be a defining moment for both of them, and it looks like Amari is making up a little bit of ground. Siva also quickly on their heels.
Well, they're on to lap number 2, and for the moment, Alex has protected his lead. The red and blue drone out in front. Amari with drone damage, so he has taken himself out for the rest of this heat. Alex, therefore, has some clean air between himself and Siva, the green and white drone. Alex climbs out of that tower again, but it might be too much real estate for Siva and Vanover to make up. Here we go into the corkscrew one final time. Alex, if he can sense where he is, has to be smiling. The drop down, and here it is, to advance. Alex FPV wins sudden death.
Oh no, Amari.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I'm here.
No, I blew it up. Going straight through lap number 2. Yeah,
Wow.
no, it was for the first lap.
GG, man.
Alex, way to make that exciting.
GG though.
You pulled ahead, Amari.
Alex got it.
The massive exhalation of breath, and then the first thing we hear you say is, "Oh no, Amari." Tell me what it's like to fly against a friend and to compete in a friendship.
You know, it's one of the best feelings out there when you're in finals. You got me, heads up, Amari, and we're all just going all out trying to, you know, because even if we're all in, it was still personal. We were just going every single heat. So there's times where competing against your friends is super enjoyable, but that was one that, you know, I want to compete with my friends, not against my friends, but unfortunately one of us had to move on, and Amari made a mistake. He went down. I was just hoping it'd be a good race, because I know when me and Amari get lined up beside each other, it's always fun to watch.
Alex, a bit of a magician here, but right off the start as he takes turn number 1. Watch that red and blue drone. You can see he's neck and neck with the rest. But as he comes out of that turn, he puts himself into a beautiful position to come through this top tower and dive before the rest of the pack. He's done it time and time again. So let's go back and see exactly how he does it. Here he is on the approach on the upward swing into the Google Cloud Gate. He's on the right side and starts cutting in sooner than the rest of the pack. That allows him to get into position for this turn into the dive in a perfect line dropping down into the next gate. Watch him on the turn here. Starts before the rest of the pack and beautifully executes a fast exit and wins the race.
Evan, this is what it looked like for Siva, who was trying to make only his 2nd finals of the season.
Siva played better than I thought. He seems to really shine here in the sudden deaths. In the earlier heats, he didn't seem to be able to keep up with the rest of the pack, but something about that pressure must just trigger an extra gear for Siva. He had nothing to lose, and he really was able to keep up, so lots of credit to him. What we're watching from a third-person perspective is that friendly, maybe not so friendly battle between Alex FPV and Amari. Alex FPV obviously with that early lead, and this is where Amari started to get into some trouble. Going over that bridge, it does get difficult, and now that you don't see that white drone anymore, we know that he did go down right in that bridge section, leaving just Siva behind Alex FPV. Alex FPV and Amari's friendship were tested here, but I'm pretty confident that they'll come out just fine. Alex FPV protecting his 3rd place in the season standings right now. Amari still trying to work his way up to catch pilots like Maverick and others. But Alex FPV ran away with this one and is in the finals yet again to protect his spot.
Our 3 pilots advancing out of semifinal number 2. Halo Walker, MCK FPV, and Alex FPV. The semifinals are now in the rear view, so all focus shifts forward to the finals. You can expect fun and drama. The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By T-Mobile, exclusive wireless partner of the Drone Racing League. And by Points Cash, freedom to pay your way. Welcome back to the DRL Algorand World Championship. We're on the DRL simulator for level 8 MetaCity, and we are set for the finals. Evan, Killian swept semifinal number 1, and we just watched Halo and MCK battle between each other. I want you to play the Alchemist. How are all three gonna fly together?
Well, what I always found interesting and always nerve-wracking in my opinion was if I was in a semifinal where I was very dominant and then, you know, you go to semifinal 2 or vice versa and you see another pilots or even couple pilots in this scenario be really dominant against each other. Now you come into finals with all of this unknown. Am I as fast as them? Are they way faster than me? Are they doing something different? So we're going to be watching Killian here to see how he stacks up against the dominant Halo and MCK. He came out with a clean sweep in semi, so his confidence is at an all-time high. But again, I don't know, you don't know, we just have to watch.
Well, now that we're here in the finals, what we do know is there are 6 regular heats. Win any one of them, and you're in the golden heat. Once we get to the golden heat, it is winner take all. Whoever finishes first will be the level champion. Here are our 6 pilots and the colors that they fly. Killian flies blue, Halo Walker pink, MCK FPV purple, Pavelos orange and white, Alex FPV red and blue, and Sinku orange. Finals, Heat 1. This immersive experience has real-life consequences. They're all through the Google Cloud gate over to that suspension bridge. As we've seen in numerous heats, Alex FPV red and blue in the early lead, Killian in blue right there.
Killian in that blue drone alongside Alex FPV, 2 pilots I didn't think I'd be calling out in front early on. We're gonna see Alex FPV going down with prop damage, so he's out, won't get a shot to try this vertical climb.
Halo Walker coming out of the towers. He'll now drop down to the corkscrew around the monorail. This is where he has excelled. Halo Walker comes out first. Pavelos orange and white in second. MCK purple third, already into lap number 2.
Everybody's been studying, but looks like Halo has leveled up once again. We're gonna watch these pilots develop over the course of this final, but Halo Walker's almost a full tail ahead after that corkscrew.
Into the Algorand chicane. That sets up the climb out through the towers. This is a fun one for a lot of pilots. That then in turn sets up the monorail corkscrew. Halo Walker looking like he's almost perfect as they'll go through the Google Cloud gate one final time. But MCK making a late move. Can he close it? Halo Walker has enough. Winning Heat 1.
Yeah! Yeah! Woo!
Whoa.
Dude, I literally did 6 things.
I tried. Unlucky.
Yeah! 111,999, baby.
Take a look as they come over the top of the tower, and Halo Walker in the pink starts to pull ahead of MCK. But what really makes the difference, and we've seen it time and time again, is the way he pulls into this corkscrew. It is just phenomenal. He has the perfect line, and it allows him to come out with the most amount of speed. That's why Halo's got first.
Evan, we wondered how Killian would fit in. Well, he just found out.
He did. One thing we do have to consider is that Killian was in semifinal 1, which was 30 plus minutes ago. He's been sitting there. He may have been practicing, may have been studying, but getting used to that race pace, getting used to that race pressure, it's something that takes a heat or two. So MCK, Halo Walker, they just came straight out of semifinal 2 and they're used to it. Nothing's different. But Pavelos and Killian, both 2 hot pilots, but they need to get fresh and get used to that race pressure once again. Killian stayed up in the air, tried to get some confidence, and although he did get 4th place, he was ever so close. My prediction, if he comes in and is able to get used to that race pressure, study those lines, figure out what everybody else is doing differently, Halo Walker in particular, he's gonna be able to apply that to his game and move forward. I love his vertical line he's got here over the towers, but the corkscrew is what separates all. And that is where Pavelos, Halo Walker, and MCK seem to pull away from Killian a little bit there. Again, it's just Heat 1. We've got 5 heats to go before we're making any decisions on who wins this heat.
Halo Walker earned the accolades with his win in Heat number 1, so he is assured of a spot in the Golden Heat. But remember, in the finals, if you place second twice, you also move on to the Golden Heat. So even though MCK has visions of winning, at least now all he needs is one other second. Download the Drone Racing Arcade, a fun, free, and easy-to-play drone racing mobile game on iOS and Android. This final is far from decided. Plenty more heats to come. Halo Walker, however, is the man to beat. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to the finals of Level 8 MetaCity. Halo Walker won heat number 1 and has secured his spot in the winner-take-all Golden Heat. And Evan, Halo, with that important Heat 1 win, is that enough to get in the heads of the other pilots? And if so, what can they do about it?
Without a doubt, I think it's pretty obvious Halo Walker's in the heads of all of these pilots. They are competing against somebody who's on his game, and the easiest way to get out of your own head is to see Halo Walker be human. See him make a mistake, see him start to struggle, and that really quickly gets rid of him being in your head issue. The second way is one that shows a true world-class pilot, and that is to not worry about how fast Halo Walker is, not worry about how fast the guy sitting next to you is. It's worry about how fast you are in comparison to yourself. You should look for self-improvement over the course of the entire race, and if you're able to do that, it's easier said than done, I have to say, but if you're able to do that, it's one of the most powerful mind games that you can play with yourself that makes you unstoppable, regardless of what everyone else is doing.
Finals, Heat 2. Construct a winning construct as they head for the Google Cloud Gate. That turn again over to the suspension bridge. Alex FPV, red and blue right there. Already some damage from Halo Walker. So he is indeed human. MCK FPV, the purple drone, sits in second, right behind Alex.
MCK has to be happy about this one, and we were just talking about how that could help the other pilots get Halo out of their head. See that he's human, show that he is not unbeatable, and that's exactly what he did. He is showing signs of weakness, and the other pilots need to capitalize on it for their own mental sake.
MCK, the purple drone, in front. Alex FPV, red and blue in second. Killian in blue in third. They'll go through that T-Mobile gate. That sets up the Dragonfly Diamond, and then the all-important drop into the tunnel.
What's most important right now is the second place. MCK, we can guess he's going to win this heat, but coming down to that second place, that's what's going to be valuable for the season points, that ticket to the Golden Heat, and it's coming down between Alex FPV and Killian, and now Pavelo's getting into the mix.
Well, MCK leads them up to the Google Cloud Gate, as you said. Alex and Pavelos look like they'll fight for that second. Here comes the purple drone. MCK gets the win, and Alex gets second.
Nice one, Mid-Chan. Nice one.
Out of nowhere, Alex.
Nice one, Mid-Chan. Sorry I couldn't protect the rest.
Wow.
Taking a look at Alex FPV and his rotation as he comes around the suspension bridge. Take a look as he rotates around and gets the drop. That's the red and blue drone that we're focusing on. And when he pulls into second place, he's got a beautiful dive. So how does he do it? Well, let's jump over to a closer view. On his approach to the suspension bridge, he cuts it as narrow and tight as he can, knowing that he's going to roll the drone over to the far side of the bridge, allowing momentum to carry him through. That's how he's able to have more speed than the other pilots on the drop down and the turn into the next gate.
Evan Pavelos has been consistent third in both of the heats we've seen.
He is right there and playing the game as it's meant to be. It's one of the hardest things to get third twice in a row because that means you're just one position away from getting that first part of your Golden Heat ticket. But that means if you know that you have the speed to knock down third over and over again, that one of those pilots in the top two positions is gonna make a bobble. Halo Walker, who we thought was unstoppable just a heat ago, went down and got like 5th place. So that just goes to show that you can never give up and that anything can always happen. With that being said, if you're able to stay consistent throughout the entirety of the finals, all 6 heats, statistics are going to play in your favor. You're going to get those bobbles from those top pilots, and as long as you're there to capitalize on them, you're going to be able to, more times than not, get into the Golden Heat or at least get a very nice position to help you with those points. Alex FPV was just barely able to edge out Pavel I think it came down to that last corkscrew where Pavel blew it out just a little too much. But Pavel, 2/3, I know he's happy.
Our leaderboard after 2 heats, MCK and Halo Walker each have a win, guaranteeing that they will be in the golden heat. But pay attention to the man sitting in 3rd, Alex FPV. He does have that 2nd, which means he only needs 1 more to be in the golden heat as well. And Evan, that is what I'd like to talk to you about before we get into Heat 3 is your good friend Alex FPV. We've watched for seasons now how he is able to ride, call it the tidal wave of emotion and momentum. He is a big wave surfer when it comes to that. Is that 2nd what he needs to start that tidal wave?
That's definitely the start of the tidal wave for sure. Alex FPV needs the shines of greatness for him to continue to move on and build upon that. If he's never able to get in his groove, he just seems to end up in a spiral. So to see him get in his groove early on, he's just gonna go up from here. 2nd place, if that's where you're starting your groove out, then it can get dangerous quick for the other pilots.
Finals, Heat 3. Strive for singular focus amidst a dual reality. Through that Google Cloud gate, Alex FPV and Halo Walker fighting for the early lead. You can bet Halo Walker in pink wants to make up for that last heat. Killian in blue right there. MCK is going to start to work his way up through the field.
Yeah, let's talk Halo Walker. He just came off a big bobble, and is it going to be in his head? Is it going to force him to hesitate? Looks like he's definitely not pulling ahead like he was in those earlier heats, so it may be doing just that, where he has to rebuild that confidence like some of the other pilots.
Well, we'll see how Alex comes out of the corkscrew. It's Halo Walker in pink who jumps to the lead. Alex is right there in 2nd, Pavelos in 3rd, but Halo Walker, it seems, with his signature move in the corkscrew, has given himself a chance.
Alex FPV, he doesn't have to win. He needs a 2nd place or better, and he's going to be in the golden heat. Right now, it's only MCK and Halo Walker, and for Alex to guarantee himself a spot, it would be quite a 3-way battle for that golden heat.
Halo Walker, the pink drone in 1st, Alex FPV in 2nd. Final maneuvers of this 3rd heat. Halo in pink, but Pavelos has moved into 2nd because Alex got drone damage. MCK in 2nd now. Pavelos, Halo out. What a change in the last elements. Pavelos gets the win.
No. Let's go, baby.
God,
Let's go, baby.
That hurt. That hurt, dude.
Let's go, Minchan.
Mine hurt more. Mine hurt more.
One more. Golden heat, baby. Let's go.
Well, speaking of heart rates, you know whose is really high right now? Probably Halo, and his blood is boiling from this contact here that he made into the ledge on the final turn as he runs square into the glass. Let's take another look through the eyes of Pavel. This is what opens up the opportunities for Pavel and this final turn to get him a 1st place. He sees that Halo's there. Halo tries to cut the turn too tight, and he can't handle it, runs right into the glass, opening the door for Pavel, giving him a 1st place.
This is what it looked like from MCK FPV's point of view. And Evan, it seems like this is his script, right? He just starts slowly, so to speak, and moves his way through.
He does, and when you're as fast as MCK, it's something that you can do comfortably. Other pilots have to push as hard as they can right off the blocks. But if you know you have that extra speed that you need, then you can start a little bit slow, assess the situation, see if somebody like Halo goes down, maybe Alex FPV makes a bobble early on. You can assess, and that's what MCK does a lot, I think. Now, if you wait too long, like it seems like he did right there, it's gonna be too little, too late. So MCK fell down to almost 4th, maybe even 5th place in that heat with drones flashing all over the front of his screen. He then starts to put the pedal to the metal, go full speed, but Halo Walker going down definitely helped him protect that 2nd place to keep the golden heat small. He did let Pavelos in, but MCK is still trying to perfect that corkscrew where it seems like other pilots are just able to outrun him at the moment.
Well, the pilot reaction afterwards said it all. Everybody was waiting for the official results to flash, and in heat number 3, it gave Pavelos the win. 3 pilots are now in the golden heat. And with half the field in the golden heat, that means the other half is going to start feeling the pressure. We still have a long way to go before the winner of level 8 is decided. This is DRL, the drone racing league. Thanks for joining us for Level 8 MetaCity. We're halfway through the finals, and half our field has already qualified for the Golden Heat. MCK, FPV, Halo Walker, and Pavelos. Evan, we know Halo Walker would love to keep it at 3 pilots, but in your opinion, is anyone else going to join those 3 in the Golden Heat?
Alex FPV is definitely their biggest worry right now. He has a second place already locked down from heat number 2, and if he can just sneak in another second, maybe another first, it means he's in the Golden Heat with him, taking it to 4 pilots. The bigger that Golden Heat gets, the bigger the nerves get, and that's also the bigger variation there is for points, meaning you can either get first, or if you crash, you're dropping all the way to 4th with a big Golden Heat like this. Alex FPV can get in and put pressure on all these pilots, hoping for a mistake from them.
Finals, Heat 4. The end game is always the same. They go through that Google Cloud gate. Halo Walker in pink and early lead, but Alex FPV, red and blue, takes it right back. Killian in blue, right there in the top 3.
Alex FPV is so incredibly strong in the first parts of these tracks. He's so good at these visual elements like that. And Pavelos plus Killian go down, meaning there are only 4 pilots left without prop damage. This is Alex FPV's opportunity.
Alex, MCK, Halo, they're your top 3. Purple, pink, and red and blue. On to lap number 2. Halo Walker has moved to the front with MCK in purple in second.
What I noticed there was that MCK, well, he just got prop damage, but in that corkscrew, he stayed a lot closer to Halo than he normally does. We're watching Alex FPV to take another second, and if he does, we will see him in the Golden Heat.
Well, 3 pilots do have prop damage. Alex FPV is in the front, not satisfied with just a second. Halo Walker takes that lead back. They need to be careful to not hit anything as they'll fly up to the Google Cloud Gate one final time. Halo and pink, first to drop through. Remember, Alex just needs second. Halo gets the win, and Alex gets the second he needed.
I'm getting on the boat, Halo.
Yeah,
I hate to tell you, but I'm getting on the boat, baby.
On the boat.
Best of the rest. Best of the rest.
I'm sorry about that, boys.
Aw, Vincent, Pavel, the
I'm-
one I
I'm
do
really-
good on, you guys crash.
Alex, you said it yourself, you're joining the boat. Just as we were all thinking about how you could do it with 2 second places, you almost go and win it too. That was a brilliant run. How was it for you?
Oh, you know, it always feels good. That last little split S run to the finish gate, man, I just got nervous. I feel like should be about a tenth and a half between us if I wouldn't have got nervous. But boy, the end of the lap is so scary when you're in those tight battles.
Alex FPV gets in a little tussle here with MCK on the approach. You can see Alex FPV, the red and blue drone, and MCK in the purple drone. They're coming up close to each other, but what you don't want to do is go up against Alex on the suspension bridge because he's got it down packed. MCK makes a mistake as he comes back around the backside, clips the edge, and that allows Alex to move into position. Jumping back as MCK has the advantage going through the Google Cloud Gate. Alex is recognizing that he's got to make a tight transitional turn here. He starts it early. MCK tries to get a tight rotation and catches that right side. A little clip action allows Alex to move into second.
As we take a look at MCK's point of view, right, Evan, all these pilots know when they've had damage, it's evident.
Oh, for sure. We're going to be looking at why MCK made this mistake. Typically, when you're in the lead or close to it, that's when you're most likely to make a mistake, especially when in a battle like MCK was. He hasn't been winning heats here recently. His last heat win over in Heat 2. So he wants to get back to that form, that final form, before the Golden Heat. What that means, he's going to start pushing. And look right here at his line. He knows he's in a battle. He's going to push because he knows he's slow here, and boom, just clips the side of the bridge. That's enough in IRL to get real drone damage, and they have been able to emulate that so perfectly in the sim, meaning that you can't just fly like it's a video game. No, you have to fly as realistic as humanly possible. You can't be bouncing off things. Your drone's going to get damaged just like it would in real life. MCK just found that out the hard way, And his drone can still fly, much like it would in IRL. Looks like he got another bobble there, but it's going to be damaged. It's going to be slower, and you saw the other drones running away from him due to MCK's damaged drone.
And as we take a look at the leaderboard, it's a kaleidoscope. All that talent. 4 pilots have now assured themselves a spot in the winner-take-all Golden Heats. Well, the Golden Heat is getting crowded, but that just means you don't want to miss the party. It's going to be a doozy. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to the finals of Level 8 MetaCity. With just 2 more regular heats of racing remaining, 4 pilots have secured their spots in the Golden Heat. Halo Walker, MCK FPV, Pavelos, and Alex FPV. And Evan, right, normally Alex is the hot and cold pilot we talk about, but Halo has had a roller coaster of results in these finals. 2 firsts and 2 last places. What do you make of that?
Well, typically, the way I like to think about it is you have your 100% ability. That's how fast you can fly at absolute giving everything. It's possible to fly at 110%. That's where you're like, oh, well, we're going to go a little bit earlier here. I might make it, I might not. What you see is if you make it those times when you're going extra early is you're going to win. You're going to fly at an insane level. But when you go just a little too early and you're counting on those inches, you could get too close and crash out. So what I'm seeing and what I'm analyzing from Halo Walker's finishes so far is that he's going all or nothing. He's either going to win or crash trying. If you're the other pilots, I would say look at that. If Halo Walker's on a burner, maybe just take the second because he could crash at any moment.
Finals, Heat 5. Back to the business of winning as they climb to the Google Cloud gate. Alex FPV, a familiar spot there in front. Killian in blue right there. MCK in purple, just putting his nose out in front.
MCK hasn't gotten a win since heat number 2, coming off a 4th, so this is going to be a very important one for his mental game. We're looking at Halo Walker, a guy who's going all or nothing right now. Killian goes out, not looking good for him either.
Halo Walker pink, MCK purple. They're 1-2 as they engage the corkscrew and out through the U.S. Air Force gate. As you would predict, they maintain those top 2 spots heading over to the suspension bridge.
Halo Walker looks like he's on one of those really fast heats right now. Alex FPV maybe not being able to keep up at the moment, but Alex FPV is going to make up some ground right here, I predict, coming out of that Dragonfly gate. He's just so strong right here, but we're coming to the vertical section where Halo Walker and MCK are going to run away from him.
Climbing out through the towers, that sets up the monorail corkscrew. That's the maneuver that Evan and others have been talking about, decides these races. A great job by Halo Walker to stay out in front. MCK in second, Alex in third. It looks like that is how they're going to finish this. Halo with another win, MCK with another second.
You were like literally touching the building.
Let's go, boys.
That's the new PP. Fastest seat, baby.
Let's go, boys. Wow.
Super tight line. Your new personal best. Where are you finding these milliseconds?
Well, actually, I was going easy on the first lap to let the other guys get the crashes out of the way, and then started pushing on the second lap, and the second lap felt like a heater for sure, and I think that showed in that heat.
Halo Walker continuing to amaze me. Watch him here on the drop next to MCK in purple. They're approaching the corkscrew, but it's again where Halo just shines and outshines the rest of the pack. Take a look at the 2 lines approaching. Halo in pink on the top of the screen, MCK in purple. Watch how Halo cuts in sooner than MCK. MCK now starts his rotation, starts to gain an advantage of him. Halo pulls in tighter on the bottom rotation, and you can see him come through the backside of the corkscrew with more speed than MCK.
A third win for Halo, which is a not so subtle way for him to emphasize to the other that he is on his A game. Want to support your favorite pilot from home? Just head over to shopdrl.io to grab jerseys and the latest gear from DRL. Only one more heat before everyone who will be in the Golden Heat will be known. And that is where the real fun begins. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back. Only one more chance here in the finals of Level 8 MetaCity for the other pilots to earn their way into the Golden Heat. 4 are there: Halo, MCK, Pavelos, and Alex. But Evan, I want to go back and get you to comment about the pilot reaction after Halo Walker's win the last heat, right? We all know they all want to win. We all know they are the best pilots in the world. But when every single one of these highly competitive pilots gives a guy like Halo Walker his due, I think that's cool because they're able to recognize the greatness.
Without a doubt. And for someone like Halo Walker who's trying to win this season and trying to win this level in particular, it is so good for him. The other pilots just saw him do something they didn't even think was possible. I think it is truly a great show to all the other pilots and saying these are the best pilots in the world, and they just tip their hats to Halo Walker saying, man, I don't know how you just did that. That is incredible, and that's going to inspire all of them to be better for the next heat. But for Halo Walker, strategy-wise, that is the best thing that could have happened to him.
Finals, Heat 6. Manifest your masterpiece as they all go for that Google Cloud Gate. Alex FPV, it seems as usual, out in front early on. Killian in blue right there. Pavelos orange and white also there. Halo Walker in pink sits in third.
Killian, he has not gotten even a second. If he wants to make it to the Golden Heat, he's going to have to win. What we're going to see from him, my prediction, he's going to go and give it everything. He might crash trying, but at least he can say he tried.
Alex FPV, the red and blue drone, is out in front. Halo Walker, though, after that corkscrew, moves to the lead. We've seen that so many times. He'll be first to lead them over to the suspension bridge with Alex in second.
This could be a replica of our Golden Heat. We have these 4 pilots all in a pack. Alex FPV getting prop damage now alongside Killian, leaving just 3 left.
Well, look at MCK. The purple drone has moved his way up to second. Halo and MCK, 1-2 as they climb out of the towers. They'll head over to that monorail corkscrew. They're both great at this maneuver, and they switch leads ever so slightly, but Halo gets back out in front. They'll drop through the Google Cloud Gate and head to the finish one final time. Halo, MCK, 1-2.
Yup! Let's go, Min-Chen! Oh. Woo! Oh, yeah.
GG's. Good job.
GG's. GG's.
Yeah. Boys.
And so we prepare for the Golden Heat. MCK, as you prepare for this incredible experience, again, you said before that it's the most nervous you've ever been flying in a Drone Racing League Golden Heat. How do you calm your nerves? What's your plan?
Actually, there's no solution for me. Like, I just kept racing, but like, I think Halo's super strong on this track, so I think I would just try my best in Golden Heat, but like, you know, he's just too good.
Leaderboard tells an interesting story. 4 firsts for Halo Walker, 4 seconds for MCK. They've shown they are the top 2 of this level. When we come back, it will be Golden Heat time. 4 men will enter. Only 1 man will leave a champion. The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By Dragonfly, North America made and manufactured drone and AI solutions. And by the U.S. Air Force. Aim high. Welcome back to the finals of Level 8 MetaCity. 4 pilots have powered through it all and qualified for the Golden Heat. Halo Walker, MCK FPV, Pavelos, and Alex FPV. Evan, let's go back to that last interview that Layla did. MCK mentioned how good Halo is in the corkscrew. So I guess the biggest question I have is Halo being good and certainly better at that one maneuver, is that enough for him to win.
It seems like he has a whole other level when it comes there. And the value behind that is not just that it's one maneuver and he's better. He's so much better that he can fly worse than all the other pilots by, honestly, a quite significant margin. He can fly safer everywhere else and just do the corkscrew the way he's been doing it. Don't change a single thing, and then he can pass them all on that one single maneuver. So that's incredibly valuable. If Halo Walker flies half as good as he has been flying and does a corkscrew as normal, he's going to win the heat. If he makes the bobble, sure, he's done. But Halo Walker, this is his to lose. I'm going him all the way for the win.
Finals. Golden Heat. Here's the chance to be mayor of MetaCity. 4 men are up in the air. Alex FPV, red and blue with the early lead. Halo Walker in pink sits in second. Pavelos, orange and white in third. Halo Walker, the pink drone, out in front.
Here we see MCK and Pavelos waiting back here early on, trying to evaluate the situation, and Alex FPV going for broke. Out in front early. He's going to get to his corkscrew where he most likely falls behind, and then it's back to the chase.
Well, here's that corkscrew around the monorail. We'll see what Halo Walker can do. MCK tried to get there, but it is the pink drone of Halo Walker that leads them onto lap 2.
We're watching Pavelos and Alex battle for that 3-4 for the podium position back there as well, but MCK's on the chase for Halo Walker. He's going to have to make up a ton of room to give himself that leeway that he needs to mess up the corkscrew, but Halo Walker is killing him in every turn.
He will now try to connect these maneuvers, the climb through the towers and then over to the monorail. Halo Walker in pink in the lead. There's that corkscrew. He stays out in front, up to the Google Cloud Gate. This is to win level 8. MetaCity will be Halo Walker. He wins it all. MCK in second.
Let's go, baby. On fire. Let's go.
I'll take it. I don't take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Wow. So Halo got it.
Level 8 champion. That sounds good, doesn't it?
I love the sound of that.
Listen, with this next level win, you're really making your mark on the Drone Racing League. What does this do to your stock? I'm thinking your opponents will have to admit you're a problem now.
It gives me such a confidence boost. I came into this level knowing this was going to be my map. I was confident. Some of that confidence was taken by our qualifying, where I ended up being in 4th, but this win means everything for the season.
And as you move forward in the season, it does a lot for you in terms of points and for the entire league. How confident are you overall?
I think this is one of the best shots I'm ever going to have at becoming the world champion in DRL. And this is just going to help, and it's one of the stepstones on the way there.
It's exciting to watch. Thank you.
Thanks.
The podium of level 8 looks like this. Halo Walker, with his 3rd level win this season, his 2nd time in the sim, is on the top step. MCK FPV finishes 2nd, and Alex FPV finishes in 3rd. Taking a look at our U.S. Air Force fastest heat, it was from our overall winner, Halo Walker, from Heat 5 of the finals, Evan.
This is exactly where Halo Walker was able to kick it into high gear heat after heat. Climbing up this building keeps it so incredibly tight. Coming down to the infamous corkscrew. Let's see what Halo Walker's doing, wrapping so tightly around that monorail with such high speed, doing his last split S all the way to the finish gate in 1st, which he did many times.
Taking a look at our updated season standings, after 8 levels, Halo Walker continues his magnificent march through the season, leading MCK now by 10 points. Alex FPV a further 9 points back, sitting in 3rd. Then you drop all the way down to Pavelos in 4th and Vanover in 5th. That does it for Level 8 MetaCity. Congratulations again to Halo. You can follow DRL on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. For Evan Turner, Tony Niddle, Layla Anna Lee, and our entire crew, I'm Craig Hummer. Thanks for watching.
This is a copyrighted broadcast of Drone Racing League Incorporated and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Drone Racing League Incorporated.